Okay, I reckon we're live. It takes a second to boot.
Second to boot.
So don't do anything weird, Kimberly.
Okay. I'll hold fire. All right, I think we are
live.
Give me 1 second to share this.
Hey guys, let us know in the chat where you're tuning in from. Hey Jackie.
Hey Jackie, how are you? Lovely. Where are these gone, love?
Okay, let me bring that up here.
Hi everyone, welcome. I can see a few jumping on. We'll just give it a little moment before we officially kick off. This is very IT savvy for me right now. I've come to Kira's house when we're living, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on Zoom. I'm feeling very, very special right now. But I guess, we'll get kicked off. Hey Jack, tonight, tonight's session, I actually shouldn't call it a session, right? It's a mum chat, and we're just going to be chatting about keeping up with kids in the kitchen, particularly over the school holiday period. I kind of nicknamed this chat, Mum, I'm hungry, because
I feel like I've been in the kitchen all day. Let us know in the chat if you felt the same way today.
Absolutely.
And every other day.
And that's it. And I just, we hear, Mum, I'm hungry, like all day, every day at the moment. And I think when we're halfway through the school holidays, it's very normal, it's very natural. And we just wanted to come together tonight and, kind of give you some tips and ideas as to what really works for us as busy mums in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And none of this is rocket science as such. I think all of us mums are in control as to what's happening in our kitchens. But sometimes when we get reminded of healthy habits, when we can connect with different people in the community and we have these conversations, it just kind of reignites that inspiration in us all, doesn't it? So I might hand to you, Kira, and we'll have a little bit of a chat about, maybe main meal times, also lunch boxes. Let's see what's going on in your plate. And then we can kind of I'll throw back to me and I'll talk about some snacks and things like that. And, any comments that you guys have got or questions, please pop them in the comments below and we'll try and keep an eye on that as well.
Yeah, cool. So, oh gosh, where do I start? I think even just what came to mind when you were chatting then is, kids, they're constantly hungry, they're needing to be nourished, and it really is setting yourself up for success to an age appropriate, of course, but where can you facilitate them being able to help themselves and know what they can help themselves to. So I had to work a lot through the day and juggle that with being present with the kids at home. And there's a lot of times where they've snacked and eaten, but knowing what they can get for themselves. So maybe we'll double back to that with snacking and lunch boxes, because same with lunch boxes, mums. Did you know that your even prep child up until high school, they're perfectly capable of making their own lunch boxes? My girls do their own lunch boxes every morning.
Really?
Sometimes there's things that I help with. Yeah, so let us know in the comments if you would love your kids to do their own lunch boxes.
I'll try
I've got a system that is fail-proof and healthy. Sometimes I do tell them I'm going to do random spot checks though, to make sure they don't have 5 snacks and no fruits and veggies. Yes, spot check this morning. So when it comes to main meals, I really like to stick to some basic fundamentals. And first of all, I think, because we're going to talk about whole food, and obviously we might even chat a little bit about fussy eaters and how to equip yourself with that challenge. But first of all, it's really important to start out right if you can. If you can not always, I hate that word, for the most part, in a balanced way, be providing food from whole food sources from the perimeter of the supermarket, your children adapt and grow and get used to those flavors. And that starts from, when they first start eating real food. I chose to stick to fresh ingredients, no packet ingredients. So my children have a palette for fresh whole food. It doesn't mean they embrace every flavor and they're perfect eaters. I have my own challenges with them. And I do like to keep it really simple. So first of all, you want to have a really nice, simple, clean protein. And, you know, I have, and you want to have a good basic rotation that's an easy go-to when you're not feeling inspired and creative.
Yeah.
So I always have in my freezer the Paleo Cleavers sausages, the new sausages, for example. My kids love them. They're affordable. They're literally 15 minutes in the oven. That's a tip for you guys. I don't cook things like that on the stovetop. Mess.
Okay.
Spitting everywhere. Put them in a non-stick oven tray so they get nice color on them, and bake them for 15-20 minutes, and there's no mess. You can throw in some sweet potato and things at the same time if you want to. And the other big tip I would say around dinners is children are more likely to eat raw vegetables. So where I love the curries full of every vegetable ever and cooking it down, my kids are going to complain all night about that. You know, it's going to take me 2 hours to get them to eat that, right? Yeah. Whereas if I just cut up, which I get them to help now, so Madeline is 7, nearly 8, Jordan is nearly 12, I've got them some little kitty knives, and I get them to help cut up and prep. You know, there's cherry tomatoes and things that are so easy for them to grab and wash and put on their own plates. But I just do a variety of different colors, and 9 times out of 10, probably 99% of the time, I'm keeping them raw. They're more nutritious that way. They don't argue and complain about it. Yeah. Everyone gets to eat in peace, and I can literally get double the amount, triple the amount of veggies in them.
And the texture.
And it's so easy. You cut those veggies while the protein is cooking. If you cook your protein in the oven, it's fuss-free, mess-free, set the timer, it's done. So other things I like to do is homemade chicken nuggets. And so if you've got a challenged eater, and by the way, we might use the term fussy on here tonight, so you know, we're obviously talking about that, but please don't ever refer to your children as fussy eaters, because they will always live up to the labels that we give them. And children like to feel special and unique. And a lot of children, particularly if they're fighting for attention, will become fussy eaters because that's what their way of being unique within the family. So make sure that you ignore behavior like that, and just really trying to keep everything the same for everyone. Don't prepare separate special meals, all of those things.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you have a child that's only eating nuggets or chips or, you know, those kind of brown foods, there's a healthy way to prepare all of those things that can be really simple. You know, chicken nuggets, you can just chop up your own chicken breast or chicken thigh and coat it in, you know, I like to use brown rice crumbs. I'm a gluten-free home. I believe that limiting gluten is a healthier way to live. We're not 100% gluten-free, but for the most part. But even bread crumbs is an upgrade to packet
100%.
nuggets, right? What else when it comes to dinner time? Oh, you really want to get your kids in the kitchen. I make Monday nights kids night in the kitchen. I do get them to help more often if I can. But Monday night I let them choose what we're going to be eating. I hope my internet's okay. Just let us know in the chat. Yeah, we're back. You know, get some recipe books out, buy some kids' recipe books, some healthier ones, and get them invested in choosing and creating the meals. Children are so much more likely if they're involved in the process. You know, it might even be letting them grow something from seed, some kind of vegetable that if you're really struggling to get them to eat any, you know, get them to participate in that process in some way. Then they're excited to want to try it because they're a part of that journey. And that particularly happens with the cooking. I actually did some, I don't know if it was Marley Spoon, but one of those food delivery services. I don't need the inspiration or the convenience of it, but I just thought it would be a creative way for me to help them learn how to cook from a recipe card, just a different experience. So I did that for 3 or 4 weeks, and they actually tried completely different food to what I would normally cook. They ate every vegetable that it came with, and I facilitated obviously and looked over them, but they actually cooked it themselves. And they were excited to eat it.
100%. That's self-satisfaction, isn't it? Small wins, anything that we do. So in addition to protein and then like the veggies and stuff, like what else would you add to like a main meal plate?
So for me, the basis is a nice serving of lean, healthy protein.
Yeah.
And then mainly vegetables. And I tend to go towards sweet potato and even a little bit of white potato occasionally, because children can do with the carbohydrates.
Yeah.
We're not a huge grain family.
Yeah.
I will have like gluten-free pasta as a treat and things like that. But for me personally, that there's not a lot of nutritional value in those kind of grain products.
Yeah.
So I keep them at a minimum. But, you know, when you're feeding a lot of mouths, sometimes due to affordability and convenience, you do need to use those products more.
Yeah.
So just looking for more nutritional ways of doing that, whether it's a whole grain pasta, brown rice if you can, or making sure that there's more vegetables than white rice. If you're going to serve white rice, it's a small portion, but you're getting the nutritional value. That's just a filler.
Yeah.
The nutritional value is in the veggies and in the protein and some healthy fats. So even when I say lean protein, that's probably not really accurate. I actually go for fatty cuts, but healthy fatty cuts of protein.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm adding things like avocado and, you know, hemp seeds into their smoothies, and they really need some good fats.
Yeah. Awesome.
But one of the other things that I found with one of my girls in particular, she doesn't do well if her food is mixed together. And she wasn't always that way. It was actually when I went to MasterChef and we had an au pair looking after them for those months.
Yeah.
I think the food became so basic at a really crucial time when she was getting used to flavors. And so when she was eating curries when I left, when I got back, she wouldn't eat the curries.
Yeah, wow.
So to this day, she's still a very separate eater. So I wouldn't make a salad. I could mix up the exact same veggies in a bowl and she'd turn her nose up.
And if it's on a blue plate and not a pink plate, it tastes different as well, right?
So there are different things that you can get, you know, where you can just portion out. And, you know, for me, that would be protein, grains, veggies. Like I'm always filling, but you might need to work up to that. That might be a step-by-step process if your kids aren't eating that many veggies yet. These, I think, were from, I always get asked where these from. It's an American company. No. Oh, it is Pottery and Barn.
Pottery and Barn. Yeah, that's here too.
Yeah. These were from Mrs. Flannery's. They're like an eco replay. But again, it just makes it fun. And these are great for snack plates as well. Yes. So, you know, some olives, some fruits, some veggies, plates. Yeah, we'll come to that.
Yeah.
But what are your tips? How do you, because you've got a tribe compared to me. It's just me and the girls now.
One more.
Yeah. But you know, you've got hubby as well. So that feels like a tribe compared to me.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I guess, you know, the main meals we put a big focus on, but I feel like snacks really must be up there with the main meals as well, particularly when you're at home a lot more. And if you're on school holidays and you're working from home or you're a stay-at-home mum and you do have the kids at home a lot more, like that is when the mum, I'm hungry every half an hour seems to like come into action. So for me, you know, snacks are just as important, and eating every few hours, particularly with kids, like I notice a really big difference in them. Just making sure that they're satisfied, not necessarily full, but satisfied throughout the day. So I think for a lot of kids, particularly when they're younger and they can't communicate yet, they often get overwhelmed or out of sorts, generally when they're tired. You know, maybe they've consumed a little bit of junk. But it can also be when they're hungry. So keeping up those snacks is really important for them, for their blood sugar levels, their metabolism, and their emotions as well. So I'm pretty big on snacks, and also getting ahead with my food prepping with snacks. So I think a lot of us just prep for main meals, but your snacks are just as important to get ahead with in the kitchen. Yeah. So, you know, some examples for me, it's not rocket science, it's fruit. Nature's candy for me, like snack wise, every fruit is a superfood.
So much fruit. And I go to the farmers market and they have like big buckets of raspberries. Like they go through 2 buckets of raspberries in half a week. Like
seasonal, fresh, and it's there. But the key with fruit is, you know, I could have just apples on a platter, But it's variety, you know, it's got to look visually appeasing. It's got to be quick. You've got to be able to grab and go from the fridge or the bench. So I'll always have my fruit. Like my general rule of thumb is like 5 different varieties of fruit in the house all the time, whether that's in the kitchen or on the bench, and having it sliced up, ready to go, what you can anyway. So like watermelon wedges ready to go. For me right now, it's mango season, and my kids go crazy over mangoes.
And you just need like one of those big, I use one of those big glass Pyrex, whatever they are, and after the markets, chop it all up. And it stores
so well, and it keeps so much longer. So
that is my fruit bat, and she'll be in and out of the fridge all day pulling fruit from that. But there's like, I've also taught them, and we'll come back to this in the lunchbox, I've taught them their go-to things. So Maddie is 7, and since she was 5, she can get the plain yogurt out herself, put it in a bowl. She gets the oats and pours it on top. She gets the cinnamon, and then she gets the berries and whatever other fruit she wants. She did that today, actually. She's like, Mum, take a photo. It turned out so pretty.
She might marry George.
And you know what? There's a mess on the bench later, but like, you clean that up at the end of the day.
And it's satisfying to see that, you know. It's satisfying to see it. And I always praise them for making those good choices as well. But going back to my fruit, so bananas, you know, bananas, yum. Have you ever tried a frozen banana? That is like an ice block to me. So I will always chop them up, pop them in the freezer.
Can we dip them in chocolate?
Well, you can, but I'm like quick and easy. Like my snacks, you've got a minute to prepare, you know, that's it. So chop it in half. You can put like a paddle pop stick in it, but I usually just break them up in half, get them out. We put a little napkin around them and have frozen bananas. They're incredible.
You dip that into nut butter too.
Nut butter, yes. The Pure Harvest hazelnut cocoa spread, super yummy. So what else do I do with fruit? Fruit crushies. So ditch the servo slushies that just create havoc in our little ones. It breaks my heart when I see.
But don't even introduce them. Like, and this was the other thing I wanted to say is, we need to take responsibility that we determine what is considered food in the home. It literally, my kids got to primary school before they even really knew what white bread was. And so when it's like, my kids will only eat white bread, it's because that's an option. If it's not, and that's not to say there's no judgment. Don't beat yourself up. We're all doing the best that we can. And trust me, my kids get junk food at times, and even beating myself up that I could do a better job. But like things like slushy, there are healthier options. You know, like kids will fall in love with smoothies instead of milkshakes if you let them. Like my kids, literally, I've asked them so many times, do you think normal ice cream is better or mummy's fruit sorbet? And they're like, the fruit sorbet.
Same.
Because their taste buds are adapted to it.
That's it. And it's exactly that, not having that choice in the home to kind of start with. But, you know, these calls are also about empowering you to work out what works for you and your family. You know, we all have, I guess, you know, different ways of parenting kids, what we're doing in the kitchen. And, you know, when we have these chats, it's just about you receiving that inspiration to kind of go, well, you know, I'm taking control and this is what's going on, because we really do. It's up to us to nourish our kids from a young age. And food is such a big part of that, particularly when there's requests 697 times a day. So I think that internet's going a little bit, but we should be right. We'll keep on going. So fruit crushies, sorry. So it's so much cheaper than slushies too. So what do I do there? Just get some chunks of frozen fruit. So yesterday for me, it was watermelon slushies, a recipe in one of our programs that we've got together. And, you know, blend up some watermelon in your food processor with lots of ice. There is your crushie, right? You know, they can have that straight away. Pop it in a little paper
cup. And they can have it for breakfast.
With a spoon. It's a snow cone for breakfast.
My kids eat icy balls for breakfast because they're just smoothies that are frozen. In the summer. They're like, can I have this for breakfast? I'm like, sure.
Absolutely. And that's my next snack idea. It's smoothies. So fruit-based smoothies or chocolate-based smoothies. It's so simple and easy once you are armed with the recipes, the education and the inspiration. So in my household, it's a smoothie a day for all of us. We definitely add, you know, a nice, beautiful protein into our smoothies. Pop your fruit in, either use a coconut water base, or a milky base like almond milk, nut milk, whatever it is that you're going to use. And your leftover smoothies, pour it in the popsicle molds, pop it in the freezer. there's the afternoons ice block for you.
Yeah.
Right? So simple.
Yeah.
Other snack ideas for me, obviously the bliss balls, raw energy balls, cookies. There's, so many different varieties, but a pick plate is another one. One of my girls definitely loves having her food separated too. I'd love to see if there's any other mums in there that can relate to that. But for snacks, I'm also very cautious of portion sizes, particularly in that afternoon tea break, because I find a lot of kids, it's natural they're going to get a bit fussier in the evenings, right? They've had a big day. They're tired. If they're full and you're sitting down to dinner and they don't want to eat, they're going to put on a show for you, right? So those portion sizes in the mid-afternoon are really important. Like, just try and keep them to what is going to satisfy them, but not go overboard. And
try and feed your kids earlier too. Sometimes my kids will say, "Can we have dinner now at 4:35?"
Yeah,
and I'm happy. And I'm happy that they then have some fruit an hour or two later if they're still hungry. But I prefer that than them falling asleep at the dinner table at 7 o'clock and getting grumpy. And that's not available to everyone because of work and all of those things. But if you are at home,
earlier
I think 5:30 is such a better time to try and feed them because they're hungry and they're ready for it.
They're ready for it. But coming back to the pick plates, like for snacks time, for me, it's boiled eggs. It's sliced up veggie sticks, whether that's either just cucumber, something that they like, or carrot or capsicum, whatever it is. And then, something sweet like the bliss balls. We have a beautiful raw energy slice that's in one of our programs. And that's another thing. Just make sure that you've got resources, you've got recipes to pull from. I think in this day and age, there is no reason to kind of go, I don't know what to cook when you have got that much around you, so many resources. Like, our program collectively has over 250 recipes. They're available, 24/7. So plug into that. You don't need a degustation of 15 different snacks on offer for the kids and 12 different lunches. That's not what we're talking about when we speak about variety. It's having maybe 2 or 3 staple things that might be snacks that you're baking for the week. And just keeping them on a rotation, changing that every week or 2 weeks and coming back to them. So that comes kind of back to, I guess, being on the front foot, getting a little bit organized in the kitchen, doing our prepping. And this time of year, it's a really powerful time to do that. We're setting our kids up almost for a new school year. Everyone's getting a little bit tired and ratty after Christmas and the new year. It's natural for our energy to kind of plummet. But this is when we need to bring our A game as mums, right? And bring that to the table and really step into our power and cultivate more healthy habits within the home.
Definitely.
So, I think it's really important for anyone just to kind of, as I said, step into their power and take what's on your plate a little bit more seriously. We're by no means, super mums.
No.
And, I definitely know at this time of year, sometimes the 5:30 p.m. drive-throughs can look a little bit more appealing than what they usually do. But it's a time to pull ourselves up.
Totally. Sundays has become a smoothie bowl dinner day at my house.
Nice.
Every Sunday the kids are like, can I have a smoothie bowl? And, and sometimes for some people that's hard to comprehend. Dinner, how's that appropriate? And it's like, well, what's more appropriate, McDonald's or a smoothie bowl? They're actually going to be nourished by that. And usually on a Sunday we've been snacking all day, we've been
100%.
out, we've had some fun already, and they just actually, their bodies are saying, I just want something really light and easy.
Definitely.
So think outside the box. If you are challenged by time or challenged by fussy eaters, you know what? Sometimes a smoothie bowl is a really good option, and it takes you 2 minutes to make it. And you can put healthy fats and spinach and different, good protein and things into it.
Yeah, for sure. And, I think as well, this is also a monkey see, monkey do business. There are nights when I don't feel like a big meal, particularly at the moment in summer. I'm looking for that colder, just nourishing meal, and I will do a smoothie bowl myself. So it's just, what works for you as well, setting that good example really flows on to the kids. But while we've put a focus tonight, I guess, on a lot of home cooking, baking, cooking from scratch, which is, really in line with our food philosophy of whole foods, packaged foods, they're in our pantries as well. So maybe do you want to talk about what you look for when you're buying prepackaged
Well, maybe I'll
foods
address that in the lunch. Well, maybe I'll talk about
let's talk about lunchboxes.
Well. Yeah, because the first thing with lunchboxes is I really just encourage parents to avoid the pick a packet lunchbox.
Yeah.
I think number one when it comes to lunches, because kids are busy at school anyway, so you know, even I'm like, are my kids even eating half the stuff that I send them to school with? But first of all, bookend their day. I think that's the best job that we can do as parents is bookend their day with nourishment. So give them a really good breakfast, a really good evening meal, and then we do our best to hope that they're nourishing themselves in the middle of the day and we send them off with some good things. But yeah, avoid the pick a packet lunchbox. Now, the way I have empowered my kids to do their own lunch boxes is I set them up for success. So they know the rule is 1 to 2, or at least like there's groups. So it can be more than one fruit. My children don't eat a lot in the middle of the day, so they take one fruit. If your child eats a lot more food, then you can tell them 2 fruits, 3 fruits, whatever. So a fruit, a vegetable, a protein, and a snack. Yeah, a fruit, a vegetable, a protein, and a snack. Now, again, we're a gluten-free home, so I don't do sandwiches. It's not to say maybe sandwich is your main event, okay, which is the protein, basically, is the main event. I do things like cook extra paleo sausages and freeze them. Or like if I'm making chicken nuggets, or like they love the chicken wings, which I'll prep on a Sunday and have them ready to go in the oven. Yeah, I do things like that. So I always make extra, and that's their main event usually. Otherwise, I'll have a few extras like some yogurt and things that they can take, which is a protein, or some eggs, or something like that. So I have pre-chopped fruit and veggie, either veggie sticks. There's so many fruits and veggies if you're seriously time poor that are already packaged, ready to go, where your kids do not need to pick up a knife. Cherry tomatoes, snow peas, baby carrots, you know, like if you actually go to the supermarket and have a look around, there's some things that don't need a lot of prep. Yeah. With the packets, so the snack, if you're not a baker and that just sounds painful to you to bake, like I actually don't prepare a lot of my own snack stuff anymore because I don't enjoy baking, and there's actually so many great quality things you can now buy in Woolworths. You don't have to go to a health food store. My kids have been eating through everything, so I've only got a couple of the things to show you. But first of all, there's Kaz bars, which are nut free. It's like a protein ball but in a bar, but they use seeds instead of nuts, so it's allergy friendly to put into the lunchbox. And there's no sugar, it's dates, it's coconut, really healthy. There's another one which is it Rebecca Judd, her new brand. They're these little chocolate coconut squares. I actually had to stop buying them because I can't stop eating them. They're so good. And my kids love them. So, I can't be bothered making my own anymore. I just buy them. So, I'm definitely not the super mum. Roasted seaweed, my kids love. If your kids are into sushi, which a lot of kids are pretty cool with that these days, and that's out of junk food. Again, it's like upgrades. You know, if you're going to have junk food, for us it's Nando's, it's sushi. It's kind of more... you know, it's not completely whole food, but you can see
better choices. There's always better choices.
So a lot of kids really love these. You can get these in Woolworths. Again, and it's all about those upgrades. So instead of a muesli bar, the Kaz bar. You know, start empowering yourself to look at ingredients. These, you know, remember the roll-ups in our time?
Yes, I do.
Right? I'm pretty sure they're still on the supermarket shelves. These are 100% fruit. So there's no sugar, there's no additives. My youngest is obsessed with these. I have to like hide them so she doesn't steal them and eat them. So it's nice to make them feel like they're a part of what's happening at school, that they have their treat as well. Yeah, 100%. A packet of popcorn. Yeah. You know, like they want to have that one thing where they feel like, oh, I'm not the hippie family that never gets to participate in any fun. But like my children are genuinely joy-filled. You know, it's not like cardboard replacement.
No, absolutely. And again, there's no real excuse these days because, as you said, even the major supermarket chains are coming out with their own certified organic brands of certain snacks, clean whole foods, and it's about you becoming the empowered shopper. So picking up that product, reading the ingredient label rather than just a nutritional panel. So know what's going in the food. There should really only be a handful of ingredients. You
5 or less generally. You should know exactly what they are.
Know what they're in. If you're starting to see numbers and words that you can't pronounce, like you don't know what they are. Your body's not going to know what they are. Your kid's body's not going to know what it is, and it creates havoc. So just become empowered. And again, like when you find some really cool staple prepackaged foods, know what they are, but keep the variety up. So it's not like that's what you're having for the next 365 days for the year, right?
But so that takes the overwhelm out, right? Like I know there's about 5 different
so you can
items.
change it each week.
And I don't have to read the labels anymore.
No, because I know
it. Yeah, so we're not asking you to do every shop where you're reading every single label. You actually get used to what you're buying.
You won't look like the weirdo like me in Corals. Like
so it doesn't have to be overwhelming. But the other thing I would say about, especially if you have younger kids, what I did initially to facilitate my kids building their own lunchbox is I just have like from Kmart, like a plastic tray or box. In the fridge, and you can have a snack one where it's like if you're hungry, and you can do this from 3, 4 or 5. Like, Maddie used to get up so early, like, and no one, I'm not getting up that early, right? And they're hungry, and I'm like,
Mummy's having a sleep.
Yes, well, 4 a.m. I'm good for it now, but back then when, you're kind of catching up on actually having a baby, and, I feel like it takes 5 years to catch up on that sleep. But, they know that's the box I can get something out anytime. It's apples, it's, mandarins, it's the cherry tomatoes, it's some kind of healthy snack that they can grab. Same with the lunchboxes is on a Sunday, and I usually only do 2 days at a time because I like them to have fresh veggies if they're chopped and things like that. But like pre-box them up, like just do it in one go, have their protein options, their fruit options. They literally just pull that out.
Yeah, they love their little drawer too. They love.
And I'd rather spend 5 minutes doing that twice a week than every morning making lunchboxes. Like it's just a game changer.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. I suppose before we finish up as well, keeping an eye on the time there, that I just wanted to really touch on was hydration as well. It's a really big one. I know myself personally, like if I don't get my water intake in for the day, I am constantly looking what's in the pantry, what's in the fridge. So, making sure that your kids are getting that water intake, so good for flooding out those toxins, the digestive issues and whatnot. And, for me, when I was going through a stage where the twins wouldn't drink that much water, they just were kind of refusing it a little bit. I put, a chart up on the fridge, and it was just like, are they going to have 5 cups of water? And they could just go up and give themselves a little tick. They didn't get anything for it. It's just that self-satisfaction of, I ticked off a goal for the day.
You need to get the little star stickers, like if they're not motivated by the tick, which most kids will be. Being able to put a sticker on a sticker chart lights up a kid's life.
Yeah, it does. It lights up my life. So, water intake a really big thing. And again, keep it interesting. Like it tastes better if it's in a frozen drink bottle. Like apparently it does. So if it's that time of the year where you're looking at, maybe the kids' drink bottles are getting a little bit old and scratchy and it's time for a new one. It's sometimes about just creating that fun for kids. And water is a really big one. Another tip there is while I'm home at the moment with the kids on school holidays all of the time, I'll have a big jug on my bench all the time. I like room temperature water myself, but chop up, your oranges, your lemons, your fresh strawberries, raspberries, mint, have it there ready to go when it's in mind. It's in sight and we want it, so we really want to embrace those cultures, but fun, colourful, visually appeasing as well.
And kids love challenges. Like, the sticker chart is one way to do it. The other one, which works really well, and it's worked with Madeline actually, is challenging them to keep their pee clear.
Yes.
And they actually have a lot of fun checking their pee to see what colour it is. Yeah. And so now Madeline knows, because she's my one that doesn't drink enough. She'll come and tell me, and she just gets so excited about it.
Yeah, she's like, I'm hydrated, Mum. I love it. All right. Well, I think have you got anything else to add tonight?
No, I
We
think we
wanted to keep it short and sweet.
everything.
If you guys got some value from this and you enjoyed it, you might have a different topic that you want to hear from our mum chat.
Yeah.
Certainly we'll look at definitely.
Maybe we'll cover fussy eaters in like a whole episode, because I feel like that's a big conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
Lots of tips around that.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. We're doing that. All right. Well, I think that's it from us tonight. Thank you so much for joining us and for your time. And we look forward to checking in with you all again soon.
Bye, guys.
See ya.